Welcome back. So now let's very quickly learn how we can add dimensions to our element using two very important CSS property, that is width and height. We already work with margins and padding, and in the previous class I kept the article underneath the post header, so I changed it. Also the navigation is in the bottom, so change this to the top. Now it's time to control how wide and how tall our elements actually are, and let's once again start with our aside element. So that is this one. So I'm giving the aside element a bit of 100 pixels. As you can see, it is now 500 pixels wide. So instead of taking up the entire width of the page, it's much narrower. And that's basically how the width property works. Now let's try other dimension, height. Let's use our main header as an example. So I'm giving the main header of height of 80 pixels. So if I save this, as you can see the difference, and it become much taller. Now let's inspect this. As you can see, the height is 80 pixels, and you can see also here we have the padding 20/20 and sides of 40/40. So this means the actual height of the element is not simply 80 pixels. Instead, we have 80 pixels of height plus 20 pixels top padding plus 20 pixels of the bottom padding, and total of 120 pixels of total height. So why isn't the text vertically centered? There's another interesting thing we can notice here. The text inside our header does not automatically become vertically centered. Because we added the height, it might have looked vertically centered, but that was actually happening because we had the same amount of padding at the top and bottom. Now that we explicitly specified a height, things are different. The browser does not automatically center the content vertically inside the element. So simply writing height is equal to 80 pixels means putting the content in the vertical center. It only means make the content area 80 pixels tall. We later learn how properly center the elements vertically. Now let's finally work with our image here. Up until now, this point, we mostly left this image alone, but now let's give it a specific size. First, let's give the image a class. Okay, I'm giving the class here, post image. Selecting this. Okay. So I'm just commenting this also. For this, I'm giving a width of 800 pixels. So if I save this, you can see the image is stretched. In fact, in many modern websites, we don't specify the dimension directly in the HTML. Instead, we use the CSS to control them. Now, let's look at our image. Suppose the HTML already contains the height like this, 200 pixels, and the width also. And then CSS, we write the width as 500 pixels. Oh, sorry, 800 pixels. The width changes, and now we have a problem that the image does not maintain its original aspect ratio. It becomes stretched. That obviously not we wanted. So how can we fix this? We can fix this by using the height, setting it to auto. So if the height was already specified somewhere else, such as in HTML, we can tell CSS to automatically calculate the correct height. So the auto value tells the browser automatically calculate the height based on the image's original aspect ratio, and the image looks correctly again. So what if I give 300 pixels? As you can see, the image is shrunken down. So far we have been using pixels, but now let's move away from the pixels for a moment and introduce another important unit, that is percentage. Instead of pixels, I'm using here and 100%. So if I save this, so this is extremely useful. When we use percentage for width, the percentage is generally calculated related to the width of the parent element. So our image inside the post header. So the post header is the parent container. So we are basically saying make this image 100% as width as its parent according to the size of the image. So if you give percentage, it is flexible. It adapts to the size of the parent element. We don't have to use 100 pixels. Instead, we can use 50 pixels. Sorry. If I save this, you can see it is fixed 50 pixels. If I move this, it adapts to the parent. The important thing is that percentage based dimensions are related to another element. So that's it for setting dimensions with CSS. In the next lecture, we'll continue working with CSS Box Model and learn how to make those dimensions behave in much more interactive way.